Hello and welcome everybody to day 6 of Alliance Tournament 12, day 2 of Studios. I'm sitting here with CCP Rise, CCP Fozzy, and Sir Squeebles. This is probably a fanboy's wet dream. You have a bunch of very beautiful CCPers.
Yeah, and me.
Oh, really good.
Yeah.
But we're gonna keep the chatter to a minimum now because the teams are already on field and they've been waiting for 20 minutes for us, which is like we like to keep them waiting. So Fozzy, why don't you tell us a little bit?
Yeah, so just quickly I'll go over the bans these two teams made. RVB banned out the Tengu and the Mollis, and Nully banned out the Armageddon and the Rattlesnake. So the Nully bans, pretty standard. We've talked about those before because they're pretty common bans. The RVB bans I think are very clever. You're banning out the Tengu, which is the most powerful shield Tinker centerpiece. You're not banning out the Loki, which we're seeing people that don't, other teams that don't like the Tinkers banning as well, because you don't really need to because the Loki's a lot weaker in that role. And then using that new ban that you freed up to get rid of the Mollis, one of the most powerful tournament ships. So I think it's basically them being very clever about trying to ban out the Tinker and then also only using one ban to do it.
You said already that you wouldn't have anything to add to this because that's a fairly good analysis.
Right, I said I was just going to go, yes. So, yes. Yeah.
Rise, anything before we go on field?
No, I'm with Squeebles on this one. Yes.
What are your predictions, gentlemen?
I'm a little caught up on this one because I'm, of course, a huge Nully fanboy and a big RVB hater, so I feel compelled to take Nully, even though kind of my brain, my logic says RVB is actually a really strong team and have a really good shot. So I'm gonna go with Nully.
So my heart was actually with RVB on the other way around this time, but my brain was with Nully coming into this. I think Nully was going to win, so I circled them down, and we'll see how they do.
I made the right decision. I went for RVB right off the bat because they're more fun, and I will stick with them until they're no longer in the tournament.
And I simply love being purple, so let's go on field and see what happens.
Another day.
Because of winning with broadswords and then winning with Dominic's. This was a very interesting match. I'm going to come back and look at this later.
Oh no, he's so cool, but not very good.
Good morning, EVO Online. I'm Bacchanalian here with Elise Randolph, and we have a fantastic series of matches up for you. Right now, we have Red versus Blue against Nully Secunda in the first match of the day, and we have some exciting setups here. I think it's going to be a really great match. Why don't you tell us about the setups, Elise?
Yeah, RVB took a Claymore Gila core that we saw a lot yesterday with a different support wing with Worms and Merlins. Meanwhile, Nully took a more throwback to Week 1, Week 2 setup with EOS, Navy Vexor, and Standard Vexor, but they have a little bit more control than we saw in Week 1 and 2 with this Celestis and Blackbird core. So as we start off, they both came into the beacon at 50, but because they came in from the same angle, they're actually very close to one another, probably not where they want to be. So we'll see how this guys goes. The match starts in 3 seconds.
I think this is going to be really interesting. That support wing from Nully is kind of interesting. I'm not sure what to make of the Vengeance Malediction, but we'll see how this works out for him. Immediately Damps laying down across the RVB team. Claymores, Hilas, Worms now all Damp. So great Damp coverage spread right away by Nully Secunda. No jams yet from the Blackbird, which is interesting. And a web right away on Professor Cleo's Scimitar. Immediate web on the Logistics. We have a Malediction taking damage. Presumably that's who's webbing him, but this could be bad. Oh, the Oneris also webs, so this may be a quick match.
Yeah, they're going straight for the Logi trade on both sides, which is what you've got to do.
Oh, that Scimitar is getting melted. Look at these boosting back shields, but he's taking a ton of damage.
Yeah, Professor Cleo's not going to live too long in this one. And if this match goes much longer, I mean, RVB are trying to kill the Celestis for some reason.
That's an interesting choice. When you're about to lose a Scimitar, you're trading a Celestis for a Scimitar and leaving there. I guess their Oneris is taking damage too. Maybe they're spreading a little bit of damage. I'm not sure exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe the Worms are on the Celestis and they have the rest of their damage applied to the Oneris.
Still, I think you want everything on this Oneris because this Celestis and Oneris are going down at the same rate. Imagine if you just focused everything on the Oneris, you'd be winning. Meanwhile, Professor Cleo's
He's hanging in there.
About to be off of reload cycle, and he's gonna go
Oh,
boom.
here he goes. But that Oneros is in really low armor. He's gonna start bleeding
Nocturne's gonna drop
structure.
at the same time.
Scimitar is down, but the Oneros is going to follow shortly. Oh, wow, a lot of his armor just came back. You see a overheated low rep there. Celestis, meanwhile, also about half armor. No remote reps on the Celestis yet.
There are none of the rep drones around the Oneros, so that was just AAR reps coming in.
It's really incredible to still see no remote reps on that Celestis. The Oneros isn't jammed. I'm not sure I understand what's happening, but Nocturne, he is going into structure. He is going to go down here, it looks like, and there he is gone, so it is still an even match. We have a web on MacGyver III's Gila and a web on one of the Merlins. Vexer, meanwhile, for, I'm not even going to pronounce Praetor, whatever, web down on his Vexer. So
yeah, if MacGyver dies, like, this is going to be a real big advantage for Nully. They're going to trade a Vexer for it, but Gila's way stronger than a Vexer and even more points. And there he goes.
And there he goes in structure and down. So we have a Celestis still at half armor. That Vexer is going to go down here in just a minute. Target painter is coming down across them. It's interesting. There's no tackle on him at the moment. We have a Newt on Zandrakov's Claymore. We have a Newt on the Worm of Syleth. Maybe that's why we're not seeing the tackle come down. That Vexer is into structure now, so he is going down. We have the Worm of Syleth starting to take some significant damage. He'll be in trouble here in a minute.
Yep. Meanwhile, Nully caught another of the healers, so it's just a matter of time before the drones catch up. And actually, all the healers are tackled for the RVB side, so Nully's doing a real good job with their tackle, keeping these things pinned down.
Well, that Gila is lasting a while. He's webbed down, he's taking shield damage, but the longer he lasts, the better chance that they have of getting back ahead in this match. The Vexer Navy issue of Zuko is into pretty low armor. The Celestis drops. They can drop 2 quick ships like that. They may be able to stay in this, but that Gila is going down. It's into structure. He's going to pop.
Died before because of that Vexer. The split damage between the Vexer and the Celestis. This Vexer Navy survived for a little bit too long.
But he is going to go down here, and there's not really significant damage coming across any of the RVB big ships right now, so they are still in this, and they have a Vexer above a 12 taking some serious damage now. One of the tackle ships of Max Scriptorius. Oh, the Vengeance just gone. So I wonder if that, I feel like he was at high health. It might have been a boundary.
Yep.
We have Malediction is down. The Celeste is starting to take damage, so RVB are turning this around despite losing those Helas and the Scimitar earlier. They seem to be in control of this match now.
Yeah, RVB is focusing on this Celestis because they realize that with the Celestis alive, their Claymores can't do squat. Meanwhile, the Nully Eoses, they're free to apply all their damage, and they are onto this final RVB Gila. He's not tackled, but he is neuted, and the drones caught up to him, and he's gone.
Yeah, I still think these Claymores are going to be a force to be reckoned with. They do quite a bit of damage, and actually those Worms are very, very strong frigates. They do a ton of damage for what they are. The question is, against 2 EOS, are they going to come through? I mean, the Vexer Bubba 12 is about to go down, it looks like, and the other Vexer, Andrew Curtin, hasn't been touched, but meanwhile, we're not seeing any damage coming to the RVB team at the moment.
Yeah, the neat thing about these Nully Secunda Vexers is that they're actual tackle Vexers. They got the tackle on that Claymore before he obviously died. But they're not just kiting Claymores, they're brawling Vexer, they're brawling Vexers. So RVB,
are they turret fit maybe?
Let's take a
get
peek.
An awful lot of damage if you do that. Celestis, meanwhile, of me, of course, is taking damage. He is in half armor. Claymore of Zandrakov taking a ton of damage. ASB cycles coming in, but he's absolutely taking a ton of damage.
The Vexers are just newt fit, it seems like. They're brawling, newting Vexers. And again, RVB are splitting damage across the Celestis and the Vexer at the same time. The Claymore's hanging for now, but he's going to run out of reload cycles. I don't know if... I mean, they're going to win the trade, but I don't know if it's going to be enough.
Yeah, but against 2 EOS, Claymore, 3 Worms, I don't know. So, okay, so the Vexer is going to go down. He's low structure here. The Celestis into structure. Meanwhile, that Claymore is starting to take serious damage. I wonder if his reload cycle's up because he is not boosting.
Oh, baby.
And here he goes. The Celestis is going to go down about the same time as him, but that leaves you a Claymore, 3 Worms, Raptor, 2 Merlins against double EOS.
Yeah, that's going to be a hardcore to break, but maybe this RVB tackle wing is like really experienced. They're feeling good about this.
Oh, Nully up by 3 points at the moment.
It's
really,
a tight one.
RVB need to get something down. That EOS is starting to take damage, so maybe they're just going to go all in on him.
Yep, they've definitely caught the RVB EOS.
No, it's a Worm down. I feel like
he's
almost
free to go now.
I feel like you kill that Blackbird now that they've lost the Worm, not so much, but I feel like you kill off the Blackbird and run away. I don't know about going for the EOS here because they're not really doing enough damage to break him, and they're going to continue to lose frigates. We have Black Cowl about to go into armor, Green Gambit's Merlin about to start dropping shields here, and that Worm just volleyed through armor and structure, and he is down. Nully have a pretty firm lead, but that EOS about what, half armor right now?
Yeah, EOS is half armor. He's dropping pretty quickly. These Merlins and Worms are dying, but the RVB side are doing a real smart maneuver. They're moving their Worms away from one another and just throwing the drones out.
Yeah, they really need to get through that EOS before those frigates all die, though, because that Claymore is not going to fare well against 2 EOS.
Yeah, The EOS is currently tackled, it looks like, by the final RVB Merlin, so they're going to try and break him down. Oh no, they're just going straight for the Claymore. They're going right for the jugular.
And that would, to me, be the smart move. When you have as much DPS on the field as you do with 2 EOS, get that Claymore off. It's a lot of points, it's a lot of damage, and it's going to hold the match for you. If you can break through that before your first EOS drops. And right now that EOS does not look like he is dropping very fast.
Yeah, it's whoever wins this DPS race right here is probably going to have a huge advantage in the rest of the match. The Claymore looks like it's probably jammed. Like, this Blackbird hasn't been doing all that much, but we finally see some jam cycles going off onto this Claymore. Matthias isn't able to apply too much damage to the final Nully EOS, or the primary Nully EOS. So, man, this is a race.
Hard time for him, too, because you see damps on him. I presumably, I would imagine there's scan resolution scripts in that, so that when he comes unjammed, if there is a cycle missed, it's going to take him that much longer to relock that EOS. The EOS is about to bleed into structure, though. Claymore half armor, or half shields, I should say.
He's out of reload cycle. He's going to go down.
So he will go down, but that EOS may go with him. Look at that EOS about to bleed into structure here. I don't see armor pulled back for him, but the Claymore's not taking a ton of damage, and he just did get a boost off of some sort. So
oh, he's back. He's just baiting. Oh man, what a clever move. This EOS is probably going to
web
definitely
on the
drop.
Blackbird now, so they have, it looks like they probably put some support over to him, and maybe they're going to try to tear him apart because he's really causing problems for the Claymore. But that EOS low structure, Ajax 33, just a sliver of structure now. The Claymore about to bleed into armor, and he is down. The EOS, there he goes.
But the Claymore's still going to die.
I think that is the key. That is the key, unless he manages to pull off something fancy.
There are
the
some
EOS
drones
is about to
catching up to
MJD.
him
Look
right
at this.
now.
Is that what that is, or he's just webbed out? Let's
no,
see.
he's just webbed, I think. Oh no, he's
there's
MJDing.
There's no web effect on him.
Oh,
and there he goes.
He's off to safety. He applied his drones and then ran away.
Oh
what
my
a smart
goodness! And the
dude.
question is, can they kill off the drones or escape them that way? Oh, the Claymore into structure. I don't think he's going to get a reload in time to save himself here. RVB ahead by 3 points, but 2 minutes left, and that Claymore probably will not survive. Another jam goes off on him. Blackbird is into armor. Question is, I don't think Worm Raptor
I have
Merlin.
a feeling Nully might have misplayed this a little bit. The drones are no longer on the Claymore.
Oh, did he get out of drone control range, perhaps?
He blinked himself out of drone control range and assigned it to something else, so they did not stay.
Oh, no.
There is one augmented hammerhead, actually, that is going for him, so...
What percentage structure is that Claymore at?
He's at 53% structure.
But the longer they have damage off of him, the quicker he's going to be able to start boosting back. His reload cycle is going to come in, and he's going to be able to boost back to 100% shields. Meanwhile, that Blackbird seems to have stopped taking damage. There's a little bit of damage applied to Shunian's EOS here. There's a minute 15 to go, and this is really looking kind of dire for Nully now. They need to get back in there.
They got it one drone back. They got one drone back. It looks like Matthias is trying to kill this drone, though.
So now it's a race between those couple drones and his reload cycle, and he's not making very much headway on that drone.
Yeah, okay, all the drones are now back. Okay. Crisis averted for the Nully team, but that was really close.
I don't know,
they almost screwed that one
structure,
up. He's going down. He's going to fall. But he may have reloaded.
He may reload it. That's what I'm wondering. Does he get a reload off? They took so long to get damage back. 17%, 16%, 13, and he is down.
All right. So
finally
Nully
gets
take
the
a
volley.
commanding
So it looks like
lead.
Nully have secured a win here. We'll see. 37 seconds. I don't think it's enough time to get down both. Well, they would really have to get down the EOS at this point, given the point situation. So.
Yeah, no, they can't do it. They're done. But man, what a great showing. Only 30 seconds left in the match. That is insane. RVB are going to be dropped down to the elimination bracket after this. Great showing. Taking kind of a more of a boring setup, I guess. Meanwhile, Nully just saying, hey, whatever. I'll just take my week 1 setup, make a few tweaks, and just go ham on it.
I gotta say, I was disappointed not to see broadswords, but I guess this is more of a hunting team.
Yeah,
than
maybe
another
that's their
team,
super setup that
right,
they're
they're
saying
gonna
for
bring that in
later.
the final if they get there.
Yeah.
So looks like clock's gonna tick out here. Congratulations to Nully Sakuna. They move on in the winners bracket. I believe they'll have another match later today. RVB, like we say, drops into the elimination bracket. Good showing from them, though. We promised good matches early, and we started off with a great one. So we'll go back to the desk now and let these guys talk about that match a little bit.
still, those teams are still undefeated, but wow.
Yes, yeah. So RVB is not eliminated. They're going to just drop down to elimination matches later today. They're going to be, actually, both of these teams are going to be fighting again later today, but RVB will be up against the wall in it. And that was an amazing match. We were talking here while that match was going on about why the last Claymore wasn't boosting at the end there, and I think, Rise, your explanation makes the most sense to me.
Yeah, I have a feeling he managed to burn up his ASB because he should have had enough charges. He only probably reloaded once. He obviously had enough time. So I'm guessing that in the attempt to stay alive while the first cycle was running, he managed to burn that out. But it'd be interesting to know for sure.
I think he had additional heat on his MWD trying to run away from those drones. And he probably burned it out like 40 seconds into the reload. So
I hope both these teams talk about this match somewhere later so we can find out details, because there's a lot of really interesting stuff going on here. I mean, the Blackbird played a really important role in that match, and it'd be interesting to kind of hear his perspective. And also the EOS decision to MJD away towards the end was really interesting. I don't know, exactly what the point of him doing that was. Probably trying to keep the ship alive, thinking he would still have drone control range, but he had a lot of options there in terms of how he handled that situation. So. A lot of really cool stuff going on here in this match.
It was great. We talked about how Nulli Secunda has been bringing the sort of same themed setups for the last 2 weekends, and now they brought EOSs, but they had a slight variation of their lineup.
Yeah, they were running a heavier DPS EOS and Gila setup, and they ran almost identical setups the past 2 matches that they had. And then this time they traded down 1 VNI, which still does a fair amount of damage, but they picked up a lot of control.
Yeah.
So definitely see teams valuing the damps and the jams a lot more.
And I mean, yeah, it's interesting how at the start of the match it seemed like that control wasn't playing a huge role, that they kind of traded the first couple ships evenly, but I think later in the match the control was a really big deal. I mean, the impact the damps had on the small ships and the jams had on that last couple Claymores, I think was probably really significant. So
So that switch was for the better.
Right.
I mean, it worked out, obviously.
Yeah, and it's possible the damps were contributing to the fact that RVB was splitting damage a lot in that fight too.
Definitely.
People just might not have been able to lock to get their weapons on the right targets.
Yep.
It's like you might have the Gilas assigning drones, but they need to shoot their missiles at something too, and if they can't lock out that far, then they have to shoot it at the Celestis maybe.
That's a good point.
But now we're at the point in the tournament where all teams, unless the ones that are eliminated, they have to fight 2 or perhaps even 3 battles today.
I don't think anyone has to do 3 today, but
no, it was 3
lot
during
of
the
people
weekend.
a lot of people are doing 2 matches today.
Yeah. So this is where things get really, really heated. And the next match we have coming up is a
doozy.
It's a doozy. We have Curatores Veritatis Alliance. Wow. Thanks.
That's what
CVA. CVA versus Hydra Reloaded, and we could say that the Hyperion is on red alert.
Yes, this is a incredibly anticipated match because Hydra, of course, is a team that everyone is expecting to do amazingly well this tournament. They've shown great skill and great theory crafting so far. In their first 2 weekends, they brought the same setup and just dominated with it, as their ad pretty clearly showed. And everyone's just expecting them to continue to be strong. CVA